kind of warm in here. Hi, it's me, Watch Mojo. Hi, I'm media processing. And these are the 13 best moments on Brat.
I wanna dance to me. When I go to the club.
Number 1, slidey synth.
It's alright, just admit that I'm a fantasy.
I just think more songs should have notes that slide slowly into one another. Brat is an electronic album that embraces messy textures. It knows that there are feelings that you can feel only when you make something sound a little strange and fucked up. The synth on Von Dutch feels like it has a mind of its own. It feels like it's going where it wants to go when it wants to go there. Von Dutch was the first single that we got out in the Brat era. This song felt really different when we didn't know the context of the rest of the album. It was like, yeah, you are the best, Charli XCX. But then when you hear Von Dutch in the context of the rest of the album, you realize how merited its proclamations are. Charli XCX is demanding space in the conversation because she knows she is owed it. It's okay to just admit that I'm your fantasy. Number 2, the narrative resolution of asking someone to come home with you. At the end of Talk Talk, Charli says, "Hey, let's get out of here. Shall we go back to my place?"
Hey, let's get out of here. Shall we go back to my place?
Talk Talk is really compelling because of the conflict at the center of the song. And at the end, they do talk. And then they end up going back to her place. Isn't that wonderful? I love it when people end up going home with each other. When you set up a will they, won't they conflict in a song, it's just kind of nice when the answer ends with they will. It's like at the end of Hot to Go when Chappell Rowan's like, "You coming home with me?
You coming home with me?
I'll call a cab."
I'll call the cab.
It's like, yeah! Number 3, put your hands up and dance. Put your hands up and dance. Yeah, I'm gonna dance all night, that's right. All night. Then it's out to the morning light. So at 53 seconds into Club Classics, we get a beat switch up, which is one of the strangest beats I've ever heard.
Put your hands up and dance. Yeah, I'm gonna dance all night, that's right.
This synth sounds tactile. It feels like it would be soft if I touched it. It sounds like A.G. Cook B2B, a bottle of water. It's one of the many moments on this album that are heavily Sophie inspired with the production. One of Sophie's production calling cards was making electronic sounds that mimic water and bubbles. Soft, fluid, punctuating, undulating sounds.
Lemonade, lemonade. All night, let's up to the morning light.
And then Charli's vocals here are not clear and to the front of the mix like they are on the rest of the song. There's some sort of doubling and processing on her voices that just sounds like a robot pretending to be a child. Yeah, it sounds like a bunch of alien children are screaming at me to dance, but they sound so happy about it. Number 4, Charli wishing for a couple's downfall. Right before the chorus in Sympathy is a Knife, Charli says, "Fingers crossed behind my back, I hope they break up quick."
Fingers crossed behind my back, I hope they break up quick as I...
Brat as an ethos is a vicious cycle continually repeating between real as fuck emotional confession and mean. This song reminds me of my favorite song off her 2019 album, Charli, Gone, featuring Christine and the Queens. Both songs are also about being in social situations and fucking hating the people around you.
I feel so unstable, fucking hate these people.
Both songs manage to communicate something about that emotion, which is the fight or flight comes from a feeling of vulnerability.
Some girl taps my insecurities. Don't know if it's real or if I'm spiraling.
Brat is groundbreaking on its own merits, but it also functions as a career retrospective. Charli is lifting sounds from her past eras and bringing them in. It reminds me of Sufjan Stevens' most recent album, Javelin. I saw a review that said, this is basically a sample platter of every era of Sufjan's history. And Brat kind of feels like that to me. Number 5, Charli saying the word billboard. Rewind is a song about wanting to go back in time. Aesthetically, you understand exactly what it's communicating through the production alone.
I'd go back in time to when I wasn't insecure.
And it also feels like it's in direct conversation with the 2019 song 1999, featuring Troye Sivan.
I just wanna go back, yeah, back to 1999.
That song is also about wanting to go back in time to a simpler time, but despite the dreamy A.G. Cook beat, Charli's lyrics are far less nostalgic and far more cutting.
When I didn't overanalyze my face shape.
One of the biggest bomb drops on this album is the lyric, "I used to never think about Billboard.
Used to never think about Billboard.
But now I've started thinking again, wondering about whether I think I deserve commercial success." Charli doesn't just miss her childhood in MTV here, she misses not overanalyzing her face in the mirror. She misses not obsessing about her place in the industry. One of the key themes in this album is Charli relating to her nebulous in-between space in the music industry. She's your favorite reference, but she's not the main girl. Brat is a culmination of a decade of anxieties in the music industry. Whereas 1999 was a fun summer hit, Rewind uses that same template to discuss the emotion of wishing you were someone you used to be. But I actually don't care about any of that. The way she says Billboard has been stuck in my head for weeks. Billboard.
Billboard.
I used to never think about Billboard.
Billboard.
Like, the way she says that line, like she knows exactly how much of a mic drop it is. So unbelievably cunty. I used to never think about Billboard. That's the other thing this album has. It has 100 different lines that have been stuck in my head for 4 weeks.
Billboard.
6. 1 whole minute of fall in love again and again. When a lyric is repeated in a song, it adds emphasis. It makes you pay attention.
Fall in love again and again, fall in love again and
As it repeats, your feelings on the words themselves can morph. After enough repetitions, the lyrics become trance-like, hypnotic. You start listening to the phonetics, the rhythm. You notice the way the phrase rushes slightly, then slows down.
fall in love again and again.
You start experiencing the words on a less cognitive level, more of an emotional level. Charli says this line 37 times. This phrase lends itself so well to repetition. Each new time she says it, we feel her falling in love again. You stop thinking about what she means and start feeling what she means. She's not fucking around. Again and again and again. Also, if anyone knows what Charlotte means by Jesus Christ on a plastic sign, please feel free to let me know. Number 7, think you should come to my party and put your hands up. Around the time that Brat dropped, I saw a tweet that was hypothesizing that Girl So Confusing exists because Lorde is extremely offline and Charli is extremely online. And Charli has seen the joke where in every TikTok that she has been in, someone is like, OMG Lorde. At this point, it's not funny. But when it is a continual meme on your existence as an artist to pretend you are someone else, that's gonna get under your skin. But what we learned on the original version of Girl So Confusing is that their relationship was strained in other ways as well. One of my favorite things about Girl So Confusing is it contains so much multiplicity. Charli's like, yeah, I think you're great. I also kind of hate your guts and want you to die, but also, I kind of want you to fail, but maybe that's because I'm hurt. I don't know. Do you hate me? Because you keep ghosting me. What's up with that? Anyways, kind of confusing to be a girl sometimes. This feels like an emotion I've never seen in a song before. Or 10 emotions I've never seen in a song before. I love the remix with Lorde a lot. I think Lorde's verse is incredible, but I also love this version without Lorde because that second verse that Charli sings is so incredible. You're all about writing poems, but I'm about throwing parties. Think you should come to my party and put your hands up.
Think you should come to my party and put your hands up.
That's one of the hardest lyrics on this whole fucking album. Also, not for nothing, but Lorde did come to Charli's party. The night Brat released, Lorde was photographed attending Charli XCX's concert. Lorde literally came to her party and put her hands up, presumably. I don't know if she put her hands up. 8, the clashing back. So earlier in the song B2B, we get the but when that back comes back later in the song at 2:22, the vocal is doubled and one of them is pitched a half step separate from the other. A half step is one of the most dissonant intervals. It's crunchy. Those notes are right next to each other. So when you play both at the same time, it sounds clashy. B2B is a term that I just learned after going to more EDM shit in the past year, and it means two DJs doing a set together. They're like swapping off every song, every other song. Charli XCX is making a club album using club terminology to discuss the feeling of not wanting to go back to someone that she doesn't want to go back to. And at the end of this song, the notes that she is singing back on are back to back. Brat to brat to brat to brat to you. I don't want to go right back to brat to us. Maybe you should go brat back to her. Maybe you should go right brat to her. Number 9, Stay for Dinner. I'm not going to talk about this too long because I'm going to cry if I do.
You would say, come on, stay for dinner.
On So I, Charli expresses the feeling of regret for running away from Sophie when she wished she had stayed and gotten closer. I think the lyric that really encapsulates this song is, "You're a hero and a human. Track was done, I'd make excuses. You'd say, come on, stay for dinner. I'd say, no, I'm fine. Now I really wish I stayed." This is also a highlight for me because I just love that now we have a piece of art that reminds us of Sophie's humanity. Now we know that Sophie was the type of person to invite her friends for dinner. For someone who's meant so much to people, hearing more about her humanity means a lot. 10, The Airport. Apple is not my favorite song. I do like it, but I love that the chorus is just the airport. So. Number 11, How Sublime, What a Joy. At this point in the song, I think about it all the time. She's just said, and I met my friend's baby for the first time. And these like really dissonant, moody, buzzy chords, which are played in a lower octave, jump up an octave, and it feels like the beat takes a breath.
For the first time, how sublime, what a joy, oh my, oh my.
I'm obsessed with the phrase, how sublime, what a joy. Because it feels like the thing you would say if you were shocked and didn't know what to say. Like, what cultural scripts do I have for I'm meeting a friend's baby for the first time? Musically, it's really understated while these words are superlatives. How sublime. You can feel a contrast between these emotions of genuine joy for her friends and...
Now they both know these things that I don't.
12, The Drop in Guess. Guess is one of the horniest songs I've ever heard in my fucking life.
You wanna guess the color of my underwear.
This song builds and builds and builds tension up until at 1 minute and 36 seconds, the song is almost over. There's a synth that sounds like guitar amp feedback. We feel this beat coalescing, and all of a sudden Charli just says, guess. And the floodgates open.
Guess.
And it's the dirtiest bass you've ever fucking heard. 13. Who the fuck are you? I'm a brat when I'm bumping that.
Who the fuck are you? I'm a brat when I'm bumping that.
365 didn't used to be one of my favorite songs of this album because it just feels like 360 reprise. For all my musical theater fans out there, reprises are usually the worst version of a song.
I wish your dad were good. I wish grown-ups understood.
But then I realized how hard the last half of 365 goes, and now it's in my top 3 songs on this album.
365 party girl.
I have had Who the Fuck Are You? I'm a Brat when I'm bumping that stuck in my head more than any of the other lyrics on this album.
Who the fuck are you? I'm a brat when I'm bumping that. Who the fuck are you? I'm a brat when I'm bumping that.
This song is the beginning and the end. It is the zenith. It is the Ouroboros. There is something metaphysical, something spiritual about bumpin' that. Charli wants her song played endlessly, repeatedly, until the end of time.
No, I'll never go home, don't sleep, don't eat, just do it on repeat, keep.
Brat is a state of mind. Brat is self-advocacy mixed with self-destruction. It is self-loathing mixed with self-love. Brat is the continuation of a night, even when it's far past your bedtime. Happy Brat summer. Hey, thanks for watching. I think you should click like and subscribe. And if you want to support me doing this as a job, you can go to my Patreon. And there's more videos there if you want to watch more videos from me. Ones you can't see here, in fact. The bonus video to accompany this video is going to be about my feelings about the rest of Charli XCX's discography. When I got into it, what my favorite songs are, how I feel about the other albums, but I also have some confessions about things I haven't listened to. Yeah, head on over to Patreon if you want to hear that. Also, if you like music, I have some that I made. You can go listen to it right now. We got 2 EPs. One is Walnut Grove, one is Forest Lawn Drive. Okay, bye.
One of my favorite songs that you have is Royals. Where did you get the inspiration for that?
Royals came from, just me looking at like how I'm from New Zealand, from like a small town, and like I'm not really part of that bougie like lifestyle culture, so I thought I'd write a song about it.